good evening, and if all works well, I'm sitting in the spot I was sitting in when she put the camera on me. Now I'm Vesta. I publish the Sonoma County Gazette. And this is a wonderful little show that I get to do because Marlo Allenbright said, come on down to C Media and do this little show and tell people about the Gazette. So that's what I've been doing for, 6 months or something like that. And it's really fun. And Ishan's behind me, and she does all the video part and all that sort of stuff, and turns it into a video that I can put up on my Sonoma County Gazette YouTube channel so people can see it later on, which is really, really cool. Now, I couldn't even do this if it weren't for C Media. C stands for community media. It's actually been around for quite a long time, and amazingly enough, people don't know about it. And that's even kind of a bigger shame because it is free speech. It is totally, come on down here, tell us what's on your mind if you choose to do this in front of a camera. And as I invited someone tonight, and he said, I don't think I can do the camera thing. So I can see some people would say, no, I can't talk into that camera. But this is the place you can do it. You can actually talk about what's on your mind to other people. And they do have this media. C Media has Board of Supervisors meetings and the Santa Rosa City Council meetings. And quite honestly, Santa Rosa City Council is going to be meeting on December 6th of this next week. And on agenda number 5 is going to be about C Media. And they're going to decide if they want to continue funding it. And there's a good chance that they will say no. And if they say no, then this is all going to just disappear. If you really care about it, you might want to send a little letter off to the Santa Rosa City Council before their meeting on the 6th and say, hey, we watch C Media. We value C Media. We value the programs. We value people coming here to talk. We value what the whole purpose of this is about. And so I would strongly recommend, if you're watching right now and if you watch on a regular basis or even occasionally, and this free speech format is important to you, you could go have your voice known. I mean, you can see that across the board. One of the things that people in this country do, First Amendment rights, free speech, is we get up and we say what's on our minds. Demonstrations everywhere. One of the ones that's happening out there in Standing Rock is that 2,000 American veterans from our armed forces are going to be joining all the protesters in South Dakota to defend this land. And one of the things, I saw wonderful Bernie Sanders getting up and saying this needs to be basically designated as land that is owned by the Native Americans who were originally there. But beyond that, it's protecting a water supply. So what you have in that particular case, just like you have here, is you have a lot of people who gather. And the more numbers of people who gather and say, this is important to us. We need you to be paying attention to this, and this is our opinion on it. And when our opinion starts going from 1 to 5 to 10 to hundreds to thousands, I was watching a video of thousands of people across the entire planet having demonstrations in their cities supporting the Standing Rock tribe for the South Dakota, the whole concept of stopping this pipeline. And one of the more important things that is involved in that particular pipeline is it's a pipeline that goes across many states and crosses many bodies of water as it gets from where its source of the natural resources goes to where they're going to be using it. And it's one of those non-renewable resources. That's kind of stupid, don't you think, at this particular time on our planet to do anything that's non-renewable resources. So thousands and thousands and thousands of people, numbers of people are getting together and saying, stop this. We don't want this. This is not good for our planet. It's not good for our water supply. And it's not good for these people who have this land. So you see this all across our country. You see it in fact, there's going to be a demonstration in Santa Rosa as well to show the solidarity with Standing Rock, and I put it up on my website, SonomaCountyGazette.com, and I put it up on Sonoma County Gazette's Facebook page, and right at this very moment, I can't remember what the day is. It might be tomorrow for all I know. So it's the 5th. The 4th, December 4th. See, Marla's paying attention to this. So look at what's going on in Santa Rosa to support someplace far away that is not in our backyard. How our people in Sonoma County and Santa Rosa who support people somewhere else. How wonderful that is. So this is the kind of thing that we do as an area, a county, a city. We take care of each other and we take care of others within the realm of our value systems. So I'm really hoping that enough people will tell the Santa Rosa City Council that they would like to keep C Media around. This is just like what I do with the Sonoma County Gazette. I'm independent media, and that means I own it. I get to do what I want my way. There is no public trading. There is no board of supervisors. There's me. And as someone came to visit me the other day to get his paintings that had been on the cover of a couple of my gazettes, he said, "Oh, I want to see your office." And so you do, really? Well, come on in. Pass through the living room, because this is in my house, and come into what was once my daughter's bedroom. And it is literally 10 feet by 10 feet. The 2 little windows and piles of paper everywhere and a sleeping cat on my desk. And, he was like, "Wow, it's so small." It cracks me up. Yeah. So, here we have an independent media, me, and my paper, which is 72 pages long, and the December edition is actually 92 pages long because of my small shops of Sonoma County. And I do it all in my house. Why? Because technology allows that to happen. C Media is like that too. It's just a couple of rooms over here to the left of, next to Art Start, next to the high school, Santa Rosa High School. There is this lovely facility with people who come here and they work on the projects that are most important to them. They have public media. They allow people to come in here and say what's on their mind. There's some very interesting people who spend time here who have a lot on their mind and make sure that everybody knows about it if you should care to know about it. So please, if you wish to support this station, C Media, please send an email or attend the Santa Rosa City Council meeting on December 6th. It is item agenda number 5. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I got 6 trillion things to talk about, okay? I went to that homeless summit and the Homes for All summit just a couple weeks ago, and there is going to be more of it in January. People are signing up for the next level of getting involved in Homes for All. It's not just homelessness. It's for everybody from affordable housing on out to people who can't even afford a place to live, period, whether it's affordable or not. It's trying to put roofs over a lot of people's heads. And just along the level of the homeless people, on January 17th is the 2017 homeless count. And you can sign up for that. I have an article, and it looks like an ad in the Gazette, whatever page it's on. Pick up a copy of the Gazette, where you can sign up to be part of that homeless count. Now, here's a really interesting thing about this homeless count. You learn a lot. I've learned a lot by being part of cleaning up homeless camps, and it's the downside of the whole homeless issue is people who are mentally imbalanced who have no homes, people who are drug and alcohol addicts who have no homes. They're the visible part of homelessness. But there are also people who are just, they're working, they go to work every day, they come nowhere home, right? They come to a truck, the back of a truck. They have, if they're lucky, they'll have a camper on wheels. Sometimes they don't even have that. They have a tent. Camp McKellar still exists. There's another camp out on the Russian River that is very organized like Camp McKellar, very clean, neat, tidy, and people live there. And there are a number of people who are a little off-center, let's put it that way. They're not going to be able to get a job. All those people who say, just get a job. And as an employer, I can tell you that a lot of these people are not people I would hire either. They're not necessarily grounded, and they're not necessarily goal-oriented, and they're not necessarily going to give me my money's worth, or even represent my company well. So when you say, get a job, you might consider that there is no job for some of these people, especially mentally ill people. And people who have substance abuse issues, they're not really capable of having jobs. So last time when I had my last show, I was telling you about my friend Marcos Zapatero, and he spends a lot of time at the Santa Rosa Library and also around Railroad Square, and he lost his laptop because someone spilled coffee all over it, and I found him a laptop. So I'm going to get this laptop to him, and he has promised in exchange he's going to write about being on that side of that fence. And he writes to me all the time on his cell phone, and I know he's very articulate, and he is straight. He has health issues, and he spends a lot of his time helping other people. Very kind heart, very intelligent man. And so I want someone who's on that side to explain to people on this side what it's like to be homeless on the streets. It's another land entirely. It's like you're living on another planet. One of the things he was showing me is down in Railroad Square. A lot of people will spend time on that lovely little lawn area that's in between Flying Goat Coffee and Aroma Roasters Coffee and across from the Hotel La Rose. And they started watering it at night, soaking it down so that people would not sleep there. And it makes it actually difficult for people to spend the days there as well because they can't sit on the grass because it's so wet. It's one way of controlling the population of people spending time there. Now, I've been in the parking lot and I've seen people go down to the Mission and come back with their styrofoam containers of food, and they sit down and they eat. They basically picnic and they spend some time. I've seen some people demonstrate down there trying to reach some of the homeless people to see if they could change their ways. They're the evangelical Christians who spend a little time down there and trying to save souls. And so Railroad Square has a tendency to have a little bit more of a collection of individuals who have a lot of free speech things on their minds. And this is one of the ways that people are limiting other people's ability to spend time there. And one of the things that Marcus was telling me is that they have security patrols now that are basically taking, if someone leaves their backpack on a bench, they'll simply take it away and throw it away without ever trying to find the source, the person who owns it. So if you are a homeless individual, I would recommend that you do not leave your possessions separate from your bodies. Keep things attached because there are people who are spending some time trying to separate you from your possessions. Not stealing them, it's basically, if you leave it out, they're going to take it away because they consider it trash. And it's probably only going to increase some of the dumpster diving going on. So I know my newsstands are often considered cubbies. We will find backpacks and various things in our newsstands. It gets discouraging because then once there's stuff sitting on top of my papers, other people won't touch the papers. I have my own personal interaction along these lines of the side of it that doesn't work for society. But there is that concept of compassion and understanding, and it's really hard to get that compassion unless you spend some time with people. And so I would recommend to get involved in the homeless count. It is actually very, very fascinating to be involved in the homeless count. So sign up, and what you do is you spend time going out and with homeless people assigned to somebody, and you go count people in various camps and various things like that, so people know how many people are homeless, what kind, what ages, et cetera, et cetera. And I can tell you learn a lot. So one of the people that I spent time with last time was Rick Caffaretta up in Healdsburg, and I ran into him recently at the Homes for All Summit. And I said, okay, I want to know what happened to the young man who came up to you and said, please, I need help. I've lost my child to CPS and I want my child back. He said, well, actually, it's a really interesting story. It's a sad story, but it's an interesting story. He did go and become straight, but he is from Mexico, so he went back to Mexico. When he went back to Mexico, his girlfriend, the mother of the child, got raped, and she got pregnant from her rape. And when she called him and said, this is what has happened to me since you left, he said, come to Mexico, come live with me, but you have to be straight if you're going to do this. And so she went to Mexico to live with him, and she is now 8.5 months pregnant with this child, and this man, even though it's not his child, has accepted this child as his own. And he says, we're not going to lose any more babies. That's the way it is. And our family is going to raise this child together in a home in Mexico. And they call Rick every day and tell him what's going on in their lives. And this is the kind of thing that just gives you hope that someone can turn their life around. That's a Johnny Lang song, which is very powerful, by the way, because he turned his life around. Johnny Lang, what a musician. Anyway, there's a lot to be said for getting involved in people's lives on that level so that you can have compassion and understanding. It really does make a difference in how you address a subject. And in the case of this Homes for All Summit, there is another level of it. It will keep going. There are people who are meeting about various committees. There are over 400 people who got together who are not homeless people, who will want to do something about the situation. And they're all coming up with plans and ideas and concepts of how to house people and of all the different kinds of housing of people, the people who have jobs who need homes and the people who are mentally ill and need homes. It's a very, very, very broad subject. So I will get off that now and I'll move over to my little pet project for December, which is how to keep our economy strong in Sonoma County, and that is to shop at locally owned stores. So every year, and this is my 14th year, I have small shops of Sonoma County. And I'm actually going to flash it in front of you, even though you can't see the tree because the tree is green. You're only going to see vineyards behind you, but see the vineyards? They're really cool. But see the small shops of Sonoma County. And that is on this edition, which is out on the newsstands now. And I'm going to try to keep it out as long as I can. I ordered extra copies, so there are 34,500 copies out on the streets right now. My mission is to get people to go out and meet all these lovely little entrepreneurs. In Santa Rosa, one of my favorites is Made Local Marketplace, and it's on 4th Street now. It used to be on 5th Street, and now it's on 4th Street. And it is literally filled with lovely objects handmade by people all over Sonoma County. And I think some of the people stretch up into Mendocino County who also have products in this store. But you go in there and everything is somebody just made that object to sell for you to give it as a gift or for you to own it for yourself, right down to the muffins and the coffee that's right there at the front of the little stand. So it's one of my favorite stores to go into that really is the epitome of made local and sold local by somebody who owns that store, who made this possible for everybody to bring their goods for you to buy. And if you spend time, I love downtown Santa Rosa personally. It's like some people will go off to a shopping mall and they'll park their car and they'll go into the shopping mall and wander around, Macy's and all those kinds of things. Not me. I like to go to the parking lots now. In Santa Rosa, what they often do during the holiday season is they'll have little Santas running around. Used to be putting quarters in the meters. Actually, some of the meters you can put quarters in. They switched it around from the little paper things. But what they do is they put notes on the cars and things like that basically says Santa has been here and is allowing you to shop a little bit longer because clearly you didn't get back to your car soon enough, which is really, really sweet because they're trying to encourage people to shop downtown. So you can park in one of the many parking lots in downtown Santa Rosa and consider this your shopping mall because there are so many wonderful stores. In fact, one of the places which is really cool is, I'm totally forgetting the name of it, but they serve tea, and it's a high tea house, so you can go in and have tea and crumpets and enjoy yourself in the middle of the day. It's a delight. It's right down just east of the Russian River Brewing Company. Which is also a tasty place to spend some time, but don't spend too much time. You still got to drive, right? One of my favorites is Positively 4th Street. Randy and his wife Melissa own Positively 4th Street, and it's a sea of interesting objects and one of the best sock collections you've ever seen in Sonoma County. There's socks there. You just got to get some socks for people and put them in their stocking. Right? It's really cool. Treehorn Books. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful bookstore. It smells booky in there. And they usually sell lots and lots of calendars, like a vast supply of calendars this time of year, which is really, really cool because you'll find calendars there you won't find anyplace else. And you can go down the aisles and just smell the books and find all kinds of interesting books to read and to give as gifts as well, which is way, 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 way cool. And then I discovered some things. So like one of my theme of this year's Small Shops of Sonoma County is new discoveries and old friends. So things like Randy and Melissa at Positively 4th Street, they're old friends. I've known them for years, and it's a really cool store. Well, I'm wandering around, and I discovered it's a skateboard shop, and the name is totally escaping me right now. Something. Anyway, it's on. Let's see, what is it? The one that tees into what is now, it's Mendocino Avenue. It tees into what was the square, the courthouse square, and the road went through. And I have his name right here in the Small Shops Guide. I'm not going to open it and look for his name because it skipped right out of my brain. It's a skate shop that is a museum to skating, surfing, and hot rod cars out of the past. And this guy is passionate about these subjects, and he used to own Brothers Board Shop. And then he moved down to Southern California, and he had his board shop down there, which is the essence of, surfing and all the rest of it down there. But his wife's mother got sick, and so he came back up here, and his family is up here now. And he's right half a block off of what will be the new Courthouse Square. And you can get into quite the conversation with him about whether Courthouse Square is going to be a good idea or not. But it's a really cool shop. It's a really, really cool shop. And he's got records, can you believe it? Like LPs of music out of another time zone. Incredible posters, clothing, lots and lots of clothing. Really cool chick stuff too. Dresses that come out of the 50s that are just like, oh my God, that makes me feel like a girl. And surfing shorts and surfing shirts and skateboards and all kinds of stuff. It's a really, really cool shop. So if you're at all hip, I would recommend going in there. And then just a little bit further down is a place called Jimmy Girl. And Jimmy Girl, her ad in the Gazette is all about these paints, but it's more than that. I got these really cool little hangers that are elephants. They're the prettiest little elephants, and there's something to hang tails on. She's got lots of things that are made by people locally, so jewelry and furniture, cooking utensils, glassware, pretty stuff, and it's a nice store. And then I went wandering down Fifth Street and discovered this place called Borlux, and this woman, her name went right out of my head. It's not Lala, it's not Lori. Darn it. Anyway, what an artist. My head just switched over and looking in the window and I was going, what is this woman doing? She makes the most beautiful leather purses and satchels. They are works of art, and she's just doing it right there. So it's kind of like it's like a little mall that runs one door between 4th and 5th Street, and you go down there and there's little things on each side of it, a couple nail salon and a couple places like that. It's kind of an interesting little place. And there's right across from her is a little place called Honeydew, and they sell towels and soaps and all kinds of neat stuff like that land of Bath and all that nice stuff that you can't find in normal stores, handmade things, lovely, lovely things. But I was really Lulu. That's it, Lulu. Wow, you got to see her stuff. And she has these barrettes, the hair barrettes, made out of leather, into these intricate flowers that are just mind-boggling. And those were someone who came in to be her apprentice, to learn about doing leather works. And she got all into these beautiful barrettes. That's the kind of stuff that I get really excited about, because you see the thing that the person made, and you go in and you get all excited about it. And it's a gift that's really worthy to give to someone, including yourself, if you want to spoil yourself, like I did with my little elephant towel hangers. I just adore them. Anyway, it's so much fun to shop. So I highly recommend that. Santa Rosa, downtown Santa Rosa is spectacular. Railroad Square is spectacular. These are places where you can just park your car, put enough money into the meter in case Santa doesn't come along, and spend some time. And then spend some time going out to eat. I went into the Pullman Kitchen, which is right across the street from a parking lot on 5th Street, right next to Sunkissed. Oh my goodness, what an interesting store Sunkissed is. Women, bathing suits. Wow. Bathing. Now you might go bathing suits. It's winter, it's cold. People do travel. So Sunkissed, gosh, what is her name? I'm doing really great with names tonight. She has, where you buy the tops and you buy the bottoms separately. Oh, how nice is that? You don't get that at Macy's, So you go in there and she has all these bathing suits, but she also has lovely clothes and really feminine jewelry and just neat stuff. So I highly recommend spending some time in every one of our cities in Sonoma County. And because this is Santa Rosa and this is paid for by the Santa Rosa City Council, I want to make sure you spend some time in Santa Rosa. And it's a wonderful city, actually. If you don't spend a lot of time downtown, can I recommend that you do spend some time downtown? It's a great place to be. A lot of places to eat, a lot of places to shop. And some of the homeless people on the street are actually musicians, and they will serenade you. There's some great musicians on the street, especially at 4th and D, is it? 4th and D. There's usually a collection of musicians out there, which is rather entertaining. So there's a lot you can do in this town, a lot of places you can go, a lot of people you can meet. Just park once and wander and get the feel of the city. It's sweet. And having come from cities back east, I kind of like cities. I live in the country. I live under the trees. I live out in Forestville, and I'm a country girl. But I like coming to the city, and I recommend it as anybody who just wants to get around people, and especially during the holidays. When all the lights are happening and the decorations are happening everywhere, and it's making you feel just light and like you want to go out and spend money. Oh, there's the other thing about spending money. Okay, now this might seem counter to what you would normally do, but could you put some cash in your pocket? There are a couple of reasons to put some cash in your pocket. The number one reason is because when you go into a store and you buy things with cash instead of with a credit card or even a debit card, every penny that you give that merchant stays with that merchant. Obviously, sales taxes, they go away. But nonetheless, that's not like a credit card company taking a percentage. Most credit card companies take 2.5%, 3.5%, up to 6% of the price of your purchase and put it into their pockets and take it out of our community over usually Maryland. That's where a lot of the credit card companies are. Delaware. They're in places that they're taking our money out of our county. So if you have cash in your pocket and you go into these stores, you are literally supporting these merchants with your cash. And then there's another interesting reason, which has to do with you're going to see people on the streets who are going to need a little extra cash. They're going to look hungry. You can buy them a sandwich. If you don't like giving people money because you're concerned that they're going to go out and buy drugs and alcohol with it, well, how about you feed them? One of the days when I was downtown delivering papers, literally a man who clearly hungry was in and out of trash cans like an animal. And it's frightening to see that, because what does it take to get that far, that you're that hungry? He's looking for food. I've seen people who go into restaurants and come out with their doggy bags and hand them to somebody. And people are happy to have it. I've done it myself. Here, have a sandwich. Here, have the other half that I didn't eat. Here, go in and get a meal for somebody. Go into Mary's Pizza and buy a pizza and go out on the streets and hand pieces of pizza to people. There are lots of things you can do that don't involve handing people money. But it does help to have a little extra. And there are times when you say, you know what, this person clearly needs a little extra money. I think I'll just give them some. I've seen some families and, it's like, well, I'm feeling a little fatter today. So $5, $10, $20, whatever it happens to be in my pocket. And I feel I can be generous with it, especially families, especially ones who are grateful, people who are very considerate, who are very kind, and who clearly have a need. So this is the holiday season. It's time to share. And so the first thing I want you to share is go down to the Santa Rosa City Council on December 6th and make sure that C Media stays alive. And I certainly hope it does. And if it doesn't, then maybe I'm just going to have to sit in front of my computer and do this at home. But I wish the best to all of you. And let's look at 2017 with some hope and aspirations for carrying on our value systems as best we can. We can do it here at home. Maybe we can do it as a nation as well. Let's see what we can pull off. So happy holidays.